This video is about the beggar had no money for food, but the famous actor gave him a future. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow across the bustling streets of New Haven. The sounds of laughter and chatter filled the air as people rushed home from work, eager to reunite with loved ones. Among them was a figure hunched against the wall of a quaint cafe, his clothes tattered and dirty, a stark contrast to the vibrant life surrounding him. Lee, a once gregarious artist, was now a beggar. His hands, which once cradled a paintbrush, were now calloused and rough, holding a small cardboard sign that read, "Any help is appreciated." Despite the heart-wrenching circumstances, he still managed to smile at those who passed by, hoping for a kind word more than a coin. As evening descended, Lee glanced at his watch. It had been a long day, and he had received nothing more than a few spare coins. His stomach growled, echoing the emptiness he felt inside. Yet he clung to the hope that tomorrow might be different. "Hey there, buddy," a rich voice broke through his thoughts. Lee looked up, squinting against the fading sunlight. The owner of the voice was a striking figure, tall and well-dressed, with a warm smile that radiated sincerity. It was Jordan Hayes, a famous actor known for his incredible range and philanthropy. Lee's heart raced. He had seen Jordan on screen, portraying characters that inspired millions. Good evening," Lee stammered, feeling a surge of excitement mixed with disbelief. Jordan crouched down beside him, genuinely interested. "I saw your sign. How are you holding up?" "Just trying to get by," Lee replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I lost my way a while back. Life, it can be tough." Jordan nodded, his expression softening. "It can be brutal sometimes, but you know, every storm eventually passes." Lee chuckled lightly, touched by Jordan's words. "That's true. I used to paint sunsets. Vibrant colors splash across the canvas. I remember the beauty of a new day, but now I can hardly afford paint, let alone food." Jordan's gaze lingered on Lee, a mixture of compassion and determination in his eyes. "What if I told you that every ending is just a new beginning waiting to happen?" Lee's heart sank. He wanted to believe those words, but the weight of his reality felt too heavy. "I don't know, Mr. Hayes. It feels like I've been lost too long." "Call me Jordan," he insisted. "And I want to help you find your way back. Do you have any goals or dreams you've tucked away?" "I used to dream of opening a gallery," Lee confessed, his voice tinged with longing. "But that feels like a lifetime ago. Now I just dream of having a meal." Jordan leaned closer, his eyes sparkling with encouragement. "Let us focus on one step at a time. Why don't we get you something to eat? Then we can talk about that gallery." Lee's stomach flipped with gratitude. "You do really do that for me?" "Absolutely. Who knows, we might find a way to reignite that passion of yours," Jordan said, rising to his feet and extending a hand to Lee. With a hesitant but hopeful heart, Lee accepted the gesture. As he stood, he felt the weight of his situation momentarily lift. They walked together to a nearby diner, the smell of freshly cooked food wafting through the air ignited Lee's senses. Inside, the cheerful clatter of dishes and laughter filled the space. They took a booth in a corner, where Lee felt a mix of comfort and unease. "I haven't been in a place like this in ages," he admitted, glancing at the menu as if it were a foreign language. Jordan chuckled. "Order anything you want. This is your moment." Lee hesitated, scanning the options. "Really? Even the steak?" "Yes, even the steak. You deserve it," Jordan encouraged, and Lee marveled at the kindness radiating from the actor. It was refreshing, rare even. As the waitress approached, Lee ordered the steak, feeling an unfamiliar thrill. He watched as Jordan ordered a simple salad, a stark contrast to his own choice. "Why not treat yourself?" Lee asked, unable to hide his curiosity. "Because tonight is about you," Jordan replied, his tone earnest. "I'm here to help you rediscover what makes you happy." Over their meal, Lee shared stories of his past, of vibrant colors and sprawling canvases. He spoke about his artistic dreams and ambitions, eyes alight with the passion he thought he had lost. Jordan listened intently, occasionally interjecting with questions that drew Lee out further. "You have talent, Lee," Jordan said earnestly, leaning forward. "And the world needs to see it. We can find a way to get you back on track." "Back on track?" Lee echoed, skepticism lingering. "It feels impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Jordan replied firmly. "You just need someone to believe in you again. It starts with taking that leap." Lee felt a flicker of hope igniting within him, a small ember of belief that perhaps his life could change. I'd love to try," he said softly, vulnerability coating his words. "But I don't know where to begin." Jordan smiled, his eyes brightening with encouragement. How about we start with re-establishing your routines? I can connect you with local artists, provide resources, and even some supplies, but it's up to you to take the first steps. They felt overwhelmed yet elated. Could this really be happening? You were serious? Completely. I believe in second chances, Jordan said, his sincerity washing over Ellie like a warm wave. And I see potential in you. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of laughter and heartfelt conversation. True to his word, Jordan covered the bill and left a generous tip for the waitress. As they stepped outside, the cool night air felt invigorating, filled with possibility. Ellie, Jordan said, placing a hand on his shoulder, remember to hold on to that dream. Don't let the world take it away from you. Thank you, Jordan, Ellie said, tears brimming in his eyes. I won't forget this. Good, I'll be checking in on you. Jordan smiled, a glimmer of determination in his voice. Let us turn that dream into a reality. And with that, they parted ways, Elias' heart racing with a renewed sense of purpose. He felt lighter than he had in years, a spark of hope ignited within him. The journey ahead would undoubtedly be fraught with challenges, but he was ready to embrace it. In the coming days, Eli took to his sketchbook, rediscovering the strokes of color and light that had once defined him. With each line he drew, he felt the chains of despair breaking, replaced by a resolve that was stronger than ever before. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would not only change his life but also inspire countless others. The encounter with Jordan was more than a single act of kindness. It was a reminder of the beauty that flourished when hope was kindled, when dreams were nurtured, and when the human spirit refused to give up. He awoke the next morning, sunlight filtering through the window of the modest shelter he had found at a local community center. His heart raced as memories of the previous night flooded back. Jordan's kindness was a beacon, guiding him through the fog of uncertainty. He sat up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. A sense of possibility hung in the air, intoxicating and almost surreal. He reached for the sketchbook Jordan had encouraged him to use, feeling the weight of it in his hands. The pages were blank, yet they beckoned him to fill them with color and hope. As he stared at the first page, a question surfaced. Where to start? He took a deep breath and began with a simple sketch, a horizon bathed in hues of orange and pink reminiscent of the sunsets he once painted. The pencil glided smoothly, and with each stroke the image came alive. Hours passed as Eli lost himself in the world of art. The doorway to his passion had opened once more, and he stepped through it with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Yet even as he drew, doubts crept in. What if he failed again? Determined not to let those thoughts anchor him, he recalled Jordan's belief in him. Nothing is impossible, he whispered to himself, and continued sketching, each line a testament to his resilience. As days turned into weeks, Lee immersed himself in his art. He spent hours at the community center, surrounded by other aspiring artists who offered support and camaraderie. They exchanged stories of struggle and dreams, their shared passions igniting something within Lee he thought he had lost forever. One afternoon, while sketching in the park, Ellie met Lee, a local art student with a contagious enthusiasm for life. She approached him, eyes sparkling with curiosity. I love your style. It is such depth. Have you ever thought of showcasing your work? Lee hesitated, the words catching in his throat. No, I haven't. I wouldn't know where to begin. Lee sat beside him, her presence warm and inviting. Why not start with a small exhibition at the community center? We could collaborate. I am organizing an event to showcase local talent. The idea sent a shiver down Lee's spine. Exhibition? I don't know if I am ready for that. Lee said, her tone gentle yet firm. You've already taken so many brave steps. Think of it as a way to share your story, your journey. It could inspire others. Her words resonated with him, awakening something deep inside, a flicker of ambition he hadn't realized was still there. Maybe I'll think about it. As the days passed, the thought of the exhibition consumed him, mingling with excitement and anxiety. He shared the idea with Jordan during one of their calls, and the actor's response was immediate. Ellie, that's amazing. You should absolutely do it. I'd be honored to help in any way I can. With Jordan's encouragement, Lee took the plunge, committing himself to the exhibition. He poured all his energy into creating a series of pieces that reflected his journey, a visual diary of his struggles, hopes, and resilience. Each stroke was imbued with emotion, a cathartic release of the burdens he had carried for so long. However, as the day of the exhibition approached, fear gripped him. What if no one came? What if they laughed? What if his art was deemed unworthy? The what if spiraled like a dark cloud, threatening to overshadow his dreams. One evening, he confessed his fears to Lee while they worked side by side. What if I fail? What if people don't connect with my work? Lee looked up, her eyes steady and kind. Lee, everyone has fears, but what truly matters is that you are courageous enough to share your truth. Your story matters, and there will be people who resonate with it. Her words were a balm to his troubled soul, igniting a flicker of hope within him. He took a deep breath, embraced the possibility of vulnerability, and decided to move forward. The night of the exhibition arrived, and Elise stood at the entrance of the community centre, heart pounding. The walls were adorned with his artwork, each piece a glance into his soul. The anticipation in the air buzzed like electricity, and Ellie felt a mix of dread and excitement. Lee was by his side, offering support and encouragement. As people began to filter in, Elias's breath quickened. Faces filled the room, and they moved towards his artwork, their whispers weaving a tapestry of emotions. He watched as they paused, gazing at his pieces, some nodding, others leaning in closer. "Isn't this incredible?" Lee whispered, her enthusiasm infectious. Lee nodded, overwhelmed. But just as he began to feel a sense of acceptance, doubt crept back in. What if they were just being polite? Then, a familiar voice broke through the crowd. "Oi!" Jordan appeared, his presence warm and uplifting. "This is fantastic." They felt a rush of gratitude. "Thank you for coming, Jordan. It means so much." Jordan stepped closer to one of the pieces, studying it intently. UV captured the essence of struggle and triumph beautifully. The emotion is palpable. Elias's heart swelled at the praise, and he felt a surge of confidence. Other attendees began to approach him, sharing their thoughts and feelings about his work. "This piece resonates with me," one woman said, her voice quivering. "I've struggled too. Thank you for sharing this." As Lee spoke with each visitor, he discovered a newfound sense of purpose. He was not merely an artist, he was a storyteller, using color and canvas to bridge the gaps between their experiences. The walls of self-doubt began to crumble, replaced by a sense of belonging and acceptance. As the evening progressed, Lee found himself surrounded by a small group of admirers who applauded his courage and creativity. They exchanged numbers, eager to stay in touch and collaborate on future projects. The connection felt electric, and Lee realized that this was the community he had longed for, one that embraced him for who he was. By the end of the night, Lee was exhausted but brimming with joy. He had faced his fears and emerged stronger, surrounded by people who saw him not just as a beggar, but as an artist with a voice. As he gathered his things, Lee approached him, her smile radiant. "You did it, Lee. You made a powerful impact." "I can't believe how many people connected with my work," he said, disbelief washing over him. "I didn't think this was possible." Jordan joined them, placing a supportive hand on Elias's shoulder. "You've only scratched the surface of your potential. Keep pushing forward." Elias's heart soared. "Thank you both. I never would have had the courage to do this without you." "You're capable of so much more than you realize," Lee said, her encouragement filling him with warmth. "Keep creating. The world needs your art." As they left the community center, the streets were alive with possibility. Lee felt a sense of belonging he had not experienced in a long time. He was no longer just a man struggling to survive. He was an artist reclaiming his life, one brushstroke at a time. Days turned into weeks, and Lee continued to flourish as an artist. He attended workshops, honed his craft, and collaborated with others in the community. Fear of failure began to dissipate, replaced by a resolute determination to move forward. Yet life still had its challenges. Some days were harder than others. He faced rejection, uncertainty, and moments of self-doubt, but each time, he recalled the support from Jordan and Lee. He remembered the strength he had found within himself and the lives he touched through his art. One day, as Lee prepared for his next exhibition, he received a call from Jordan. "Lee, I have exciting news. A gallery is interested in featuring your work." They felt a rush of disbelief. "Really? You are serious?" "Absolutely. I believe in your talent, and it is time for the world to see it. Let us set up a meeting," Jordan said, his voice brimming with excitement. Lee's heart raced as he realized the magnitude of this opportunity. The road ahead would still be challenging, but now he was equipped with the tools of resilience, support, and an unwavering belief in his potential. As he hung up the phone, Lee looked around his small studio, filled with sketches and paints, remnants of his journey. He felt a swell of gratitude for every struggle, every moment of despair that had led him here, back to his passion, back to himself. He grabbed his sketchbook and opened it to a fresh page. With each line he drew, he felt stronger, more hopeful. The future stretched ahead, vast and inviting, and this time, he was ready to embrace it. Lee was not merely surviving, he was thriving. The encounter with Jordan was the spark that ignited his journey to reclaiming his life. He had discovered that kindness, belief, and the courage to pursue one's dreams could transform the darkest of circumstances into a tapestry of hope. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and determination, Lee continued to paint the world with his truth colors of resilience, strokes of hope, and the unwavering belief that tomorrow was a canvas waiting to be filled. As the weeks rolled into months, Lee found himself immersed in a newfound rhythm, a delicate dance of creativity and determination. The community center became his haven, a vibrant place where he submerged himself in art and the shared dreams of others like him. One sunny afternoon, while Lee was setting up for a workshop, he noticed a group of students from a local high school gathering outside the center. They were part of a community outreach program aimed at encouraging young minds to explore their creativity. Lee's heart swelled with nostalgia, remembering his own youthful aspirations. The program director, Ms. Thompson, spotted Lee and waved him over. "Lee, perfect timing. We could use your expertise. Would you like to talk to these kids about your journey, share your story?" Lee hesitated, a wave of vulnerability crashing over him. "I am not sure if they'd be interested in an artist like me. I am just a nobody." "Stop right there, Ms. Thompson interjected gently. "You're not a nobody, you're an artist, and you've overcome so much. Your story can inspire them." The words hung in the air, echoing in Lee's mind. He took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of support envelop him. "Okay, I'll give it a try." As he stepped into the room, the chatter subsided, and all eyes turned to him. They felt his palms sweat as he stood before the group of eager faces. Hey everyone," he began, his voice trembling slightly. "I am Lee, and I am an artist." The students exchanged curious glances, some pulling out sketchbooks and pencils, ready to jot down notes. Lee's confidence began to build. "A few months ago, I was lost, battling my own demons, but art saved me." He shared the story of his struggles, the pain of losing his way, the darkness that had enveloped him, and the unexpected kindness from Jordan that reignited his passion. With each word, Lee could see their eyes widen, their attentiveness deepening. One student raised his hand, a spark of curiosity in his expression. "How did you find the courage to keep going after everything?" Lee paused, reflecting on the depth of that question. "Courage isn't the absence of fear, it is moving forward despite it. I learned to embrace my vulnerability, and it was the kindness from others that reminded me I was never truly alone." The room buzzed with energy as more students chimed in, asking questions about art, passion, and perseverance. Lee felt a connection forming, a thread weaving through their collective uncertainty. As he spoke, he felt the weight of his past transform into a beacon of hope, illuminating the path for others. After the session, several students approached him, their faces alight with excitement. "Can we see your work?" one girl asked, her voice eager. "Sure, I'd love to show you," Ali replied, his heart swelling with joy. He led them into the community center, a gallery space where his art adorned the walls. He watched their reactions as they moved from piece to piece, their eyes wide with wonder. "This is amazing. How did you do this?" the boy exclaimed, pointing to a vibrant painting of a sunset breaking through storm clouds. "Each stroke tells a story," Ali explained. "It is about capturing emotions, just like life. Sometimes it is dark, but there is always light waiting to break through." Inspired by the encounter, Lee realized the profound impact of sharing his journey. These young minds were thirsty for stories of resilience, and he was more than willing to provide them. As the weeks turned into a regular workshop, Lee became a mentor, guiding students through their own creative processes, fostering an environment of support and encouragement. Yet amidst this newfound joy, Lee faced his own challenges. The pressure of his upcoming gallery exhibition loomed over him. Fear of being judged, of being vulnerable again, clawed at the edges of his confidence. On particularly hard days, the whispers of doubt seeped back in, threatening to drown out his heart and clarity. One evening, after a long day at the community center, Lee found himself sitting on a bench in the park, his sketchbook resting on his lap. "What if I fail?" he whispered to himself, feeling the familiar weight of despair creeping in. "What if they don't like my work?" Just then, Lee appeared, her presence a bright light against the backdrop of his swirling thoughts. "Hey, Lee, mind if I join you?" "Of course," he replied, forcing a smile. "You're just thinking." She settled beside him, her expression softening. "What is on your mind?" "I have this exhibition coming up, but I can't shake the feeling that I don't belong. What if no one connects with my art? What if I am just a fraud?" Lee looked at him, her eyes unwavering. "Lee, every artist has those doubts, but remember, art is about sharing your truth. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be genuine." "I know," he sighed, staring at the ground. "But it is hard to silence that inner critic." Let us make a pact, then. We'll both take a leap of faith together, Lee suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. We'll share our art, flaws and all, and see what happens. The world deserves to see the real you. Her words ignited a flicker of courage within him. Okay, let us do it, together. With Lee's encouragement, Lee poured his heart into the final preparations for the exhibition. The day arrived, and he stood before the gallery, nerves twisting in his stomach. The walls were adorned with his artwork, each piece a testament to his journey, but uncertainty still clung to him. As attendees began to trickle in, he fought against the tide of anxiety. He glanced around, searching for familiar faces. Just then, Jordan appeared, his smile infectious. Ellie, this is incredible. The artwork is breathtaking. Thank you for coming, Jordan, Ellie said, gratitude washing over him. I can't believe this is happening. You deserve every bit of this moment. Just remember, it is not about perfection, it is about connection, Jordan reminded him. Lee nodded, feeling the warmth of support radiating around him. As people began to engage with his work, conversation sparked, laughter filled the room, and Ali felt a shift within himself. The fears that had gripped him began to dissolve as he realized he was not alone. Throughout the evening, attendees shared their reactions to his art, revealing how his pieces resonated with their own struggles. I see hope in this one, an older woman said, her eyes misty. It reminds me of my journey. Lee felt a rush of emotion. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to capture the beauty that can emerge from darkness. As the night unfolded, he found himself surrounded by a community of support, each conversation deepening the connection between them. Fear that once loomed over him melted away, replaced by a sense of purpose and belonging. At the end of the night, Lee approached him, her eyes sparkling. You did it, Ali. People connected with your work. You shared your story, and it resonated. I can't believe how incredible this was, Ali replied, still in awe. I felt seen. Jordan joined them, placing a hand on Ali's shoulder. You've shown everyone the power of vulnerability. This is just the beginning. As Ali looked around at the faces filled with appreciation, he understood that his journey was not just about his art, it was about connection, healing, and the strength that comes from storytelling. Days turned into weeks, and Ali's work gained recognition, leading to more opportunities. He continued to mentor young artists at the community center, weaving his experiences into their narratives, showing them that resilience was not just a word, it was a way of life. One morning, as Lee prepared for yet another workshop, he received a message that made his heart race. Jordan had arranged for him to showcase his work at a reputable gallery downtown, a dream he had once thought impossible. Lee felt a surge of gratitude, realizing how far he had come. He picked up his sketchbook, flipping through the pages filled with sketches, notes, and reflections from his journey. Each line told a story of resilience, every color a testament to the hope that had blossomed within him. As he stepped into the gallery for the exhibition, he paused, taking a deep breath. This was more than just an opportunity, it was a celebration of the human spirit's capacity to rise from the ashes. He was living proof that with kindness, dedication, and courage, one could reclaim their story. And in that moment, surrounded by art, laughter, and love, Lane knew he was not just an artist, he was a beacon of hope for others, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always awaited, ready to illuminate the path ahead. Lee stood at the entrance of the gallery, his heart racing as he took in sight of the walls adorned with his artwork. This was his first major exhibition at a prominent venue, an opportunity he had never imagined would materialize. The inviting aroma of fresh paint mingled with the faint scent of flowers arranged strategically around the room, creating an atmosphere filled with anticipation. He glanced at the throng of attendees mingling, laughter, and chatter filling the air, a stark contrast to the silence that had once enveloped his life. The memory of his days spent hunched against the calf wall flooded back, days filled with despair, longing, and hopelessness. That man had felt lost, but now he was standing on the precipice of a dream fulfilled. Ali. Lee's voice broke through his thoughts, pulling him back to the present. She moved toward him, her excitement palpable. Look at this, people are already talking about your work. Lee's gaze followed hers, landing on a small group gathered around one of his paintings, the one he had titled Resilience. It depicted a stormy sky splashed with vivid reds and oranges, breaking through with rays of light, symbolizing the beauty that can emerge from darkness. I can't believe this is happening, Ali said, his voice a mix of disbelief and awe. Just a few months ago, I was barely surviving, and now, you're thriving, Lee interjected, her eyes shining with encouragement. You've touched so many lives already. You're not just an artist now, you're a beacon of hope. Lee felt warmth spread through him at her words. Thank you for believing in me, Lee. I don't think I could feed on this without you and Jordan. You both pushed me when I needed it. Lee smiles, her enthusiasm infectious. Let us not waste this moment, but mingle, share your story. Lee nodded, taking a deep breath as he stepped further into the gallery. The ambience buzzed with energy, and he felt a growing sense of belonging. As he wandered from group to group, he listened to conversations about his art, stories of people finding solace, inspiration, and understanding in his pieces. Lee, this one really speaks to me, a woman said, gesturing toward a painting depicting a solitary figure under a tree, bathed in the golden glow of a setting sun. It reminds me of the times I felt lost, but there was always a glimmer of hope waiting for me. Thank you, Lee replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. I created that during a particularly difficult time in my life. I wanted to capture the feeling of solitude while also conveying the hope that exists beyond it. That is the beauty of art, the woman said, her eyes bright. It connects us all, even in our darkest moments. Lee felt a rush of emotion. The moment he had feared being vulnerable was now the very thing that was drawing people closer, forging connections through shared experiences. He continued to engage with the guests, sharing his stories and listening to theirs in return. Each conversation added another layer to his sense of purpose. As the evening progressed, Jordan arrived, his presence a warm embrace amidst the crowd. Lee, you're incredible, my friend. The energy in here is fantastic. Thank you for believing in me, Jordan. This wouldn't have been possible without your support, Lee replied, feeling a surge of gratitude for the actor who had become a catalyst for his transformation. I just showed you the door. You opened it with your passion, Jordan said, his smile radiating sincerity. You have a gift, and the world needs to see it. We felt the weight of Jordan's words. It was no longer just about him, it was about the impact his art had on others, the way it could resonate with their struggles and triumphs. As the night wore on, Lee noticed a young boy standing quietly in front of his painting of a phoenix rising from the ashes. The boy's eyes were wide with wonder, and his face seemed to reflect an understanding beyond his years. Hi there, Lee said softly as he approached. What do you think of the painting? It is beautiful, the boy replied, almost shyly. It is like it is saying that even when everything is broken, we can still fly, right? Lee's heart soared at the insight of this young soul. Exactly, that is precisely it. It is about finding the strength to rise again, no matter how tough things get. Can I draw like that one day? The boy asked, his voice filled with hope. Absolutely, Ellie affirmed, crouching down to meet the boy's gaze. You have a powerful imagination. Just keep drawing, keep creating, and never give up. Your voice matters. The boy beamed, and Ellie felt the connection form a reminder of his own journey and the importance of nurturing creativity in others. As the boy dashed off to find his parents, Lee stood for a moment, reflecting on how far he had come. The gallery exhibition was not just a showcase of his work, it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Later in the evening, as Lee stood beside Lee, he felt a wave of emotions wash over him. Thank you for encouraging me to embrace my story, Lee. I never thought I'd be here sharing my truth with so many people. You're a natural, Lee replied, her voice warm. And your story is just beginning. This is just one chapter. But what if I run out of things to say? What if I can't create anything new? Lee confessed, the familiar insecurities creeping back. Lee reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. You are an artist. Your journey is ongoing, and each experience will inspire new creations. You've overcome so much that they fuel your creativity. Don't be afraid to explore, even if it leads you into uncharted territory. Lee nodded, her encouragement igniting a spark of determination within him. You're right. I just need to trust the process. As the night drew to a close and the gallery began to empty, Lee stood in front of his artwork, taking it all in, the conversations, the connections, and the impact his pieces had made. Just then, Jordan approached, a proud look on his face. Lee, you did it. You not only showcased your art, but you also shared your heart. That is what makes you a true artist, he said. I couldn't have done this without you, Jordan. He showed me that vulnerability is powerful, Lee replied, feeling a swell of gratitude. Not just me, everyone you've touched along the way. Your journey has inspired many. Remember that, Jordan said, the knowing smile on his lips. Lee took a deep breath, the weight of his past transforming into a sense of gratitude. He realized that every challenge, every moment of despair, had led him to this moment of triumph. I think I finally understand what it means to embrace one's journey, he said softly. As the final guest filtered out, Lee stood in the gallery, immersed in a moment of reflection. He had not only found his voice, but had also unearthed a sense of purpose. This was more than just an exhibition, it was a celebration of hope, resilience, and the unyielding beauty of the human spirit. With renewed courage, Lee stepped outside into the cold night air, the stars twinkling above like a constellation of dreams waiting to be fulfilled. He glanced at Lee and Jordan, who were deep in conversation, the warmth of their friendship wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. "The future feels bright," Lee said, a smile spreading across his face. "I want to keep pushing my limits, exploring new stories. I want to share my journey with even more people." "Then let us make that happen," Jordan encouraged, his eyes glinting with enthusiasm. "Let us collaborate on outreach programs, workshops, and exhibitions. Your journey has the power to ignite change in others." "I do love that. There is so much we can do together," Ali replied, his heart swelling with excitement. As they walked down the street, laughter and dreams mingling in the night air, Ali felt a sense of belonging he had long craved. He understood that life would still present challenges, but he was no longer defined by them. The resilience within him had become a beacon of hope, one that illuminated not only his path but also the paths of others seeking their own light. And so the journey continued. With every brushstroke, every word shared, Lee would weave the tapestry of his experiences into the world. He had discovered that the beauty of life lies not just in the triumphs, but in the struggles that shape us. Through resilience and kindness, he would create a legacy, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human heart.